Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas with IEBA Communications, and today I'm going to use some live streaming tech down here to walk you through the latest in mobile multi-bonded solutions out there, the Teradek VidiU Go. So there are many solutions out there which can take your camera signal via HDMI or SDI and get it out on the air. It's been a solution that's been around for many years. Teradek Bond has been one of them, where you get a bunch of the cellular modems, little cellular USB sticks, and you just jam them in the sides and everything. But now there is this solution, which is the VidiU Go. There's a VidiU Pro, and now there's this Go unit, which is the latest version. And one of the key features with this is it has two purpose-built MIMO cellular modems right here on each side. It screws into the sides right here. And this is in addition to Ethernet and Wi-Fi connectivity. Now, this is not a mobile hotspot. Let's just get that out of the door right now. This is not designed to be a mobile hotspot where it'll take cellular and make it available on Wi-Fi. This is meant so that if there is existing Wi-Fi at a location, you can use that as one of your available upload avenues. You could use wired Ethernet, Wi-Fi, one cellular, two cellular, or all of them combined. So let's do a quick walkthrough of this. I get a second camera right over here, and you can see there's a button right on the left here. Pushing it for a couple of seconds boots this right up into startup mode. To the right of that, there is a record button. Further over here, there's a four-way navigation with a center enter. As it is booting up, it is going to check what's available and what I have set it up for. Right now, it is set up as an access point. Has a built-in battery. It's at 92%. And you can see now it has two cellular modems that have booted up. These both have cards that have been provided by Teradek for this review. This is just a review unit. I don't own this. They're not paying me to review this. They provided this for review, and then I have to give it back when I'm done. This unit, both of these cellular modems, each of them has a full-size SIM inside. And then you can put in the SIM card of the carrier of your choice. On one side here, there's also a slot for a micro SD card for recording. Now on the back of this unit, let's spin this around right here. On the back of this unit, you can see that you've got your SMA for your Wi-Fi, an HDMI in, SDI in, Ethernet, a USB-C, this is just for power. There's an audio, 1/8" stereo, analog audio in, analog audio out, and then also the second Wi-Fi. This will do both 2.4 gig and 5 gig AC, so it is plenty fast. It'll make use of whatever you've got available in the neighborhood. If I were to jack it into this Lumix camera right here, I would just use the HDMI right into the HDMI out of the camera. This camera can provide clean HDMI out. So with this camera and this device, I could literally stream like a sports event from the stadium with just these two pieces. And I'll get to a little bit more about that in a moment.
And here are the settings I was talking about. You go in the video and audio, you can set an overlay. Go set the overlay. I can do graphics, or I can do a score. Let's just do team 1 and team 2, 0-0. Top, bottom, mid, scoreboard statistic, apply, go home. Okay, there we go. And let's see if we can do something else too. So let us do a broadcast. 2, 3. All right, so now I go on to score. Look at that. Apply. Look at that, 3-0 on team 1. Oh. 3-7. Let me hide it. Oh, that's just to hide that. So I can't take the score out. It's just always there. Score comes in. Oh, they got a touchdown too. 7, 8, 10. There we go. And apply.
Over here on the display, you can see that there is a basic display right here. I'm not streaming, so it's not giving me a status update. It also says there's no video, so it tells me that there's nothing connected. So it's giving you like live updates. If you go to the right here, you've got your broadcast settings, recording settings, video settings, audio settings, your network settings, your cloud settings, and your system settings. Now, cloud settings is interesting because if we go into cloud settings, you can see that I am using none. I could use SHarelink or Core. That's a key thing in that you do not have to use Core with this, although Core gives you a specific advantage. The specific advantage that Core gives you with the VidiU Go is you can leverage H.265 or HEVC compression to lower your data rate that you're trying to send out, especially if you're using cellular. Core will then take that H.265 in, transcode it to H.264 MPEG, which it will then send to Facebook, YouTube, Wowza, whatever you want. And that makes you, especially if you've got like a long multi-hour stream, that lowers your data usage dramatically by using a much higher compression standard than H.264. If you're using SHarelink or you're going directly from this device to Facebook or YouTube or whatever, you have to use H.264. So that is an advantage going with the Core cloud services over SHarelink or going direct. Another advantage to Core is that you have the ability to manage multiple devices. They come in with their own names. You can set up multiple parameters. Even while a stream is going, you can like, hey, let me add something else, send it to a new place. You can do all that management behind the scenes. If you're doing it direct from the face, it's a little bit harder. Although, like I said, this is an access point. So with my cell phone, I can run with an iOS cell phone. It's an iOS app. With an iOS cell phone or tablet, you can use an app and the VidiU app and browse the settings that are in here. So you're talking to the antennas while it is also streaming out. How does that work if it's not an access point? I had that same question. And the way it works is if you are using cellular, like I am, you only saw the two cellular indicators on the front of this, then this is an access point and I can connect directly to it. If I am connecting to an existing network, then I use my tablet and I connect to that same network and the app will find the VidiU Go on the network and connect to it. That is how that works if you are also leveraging Wi-Fi as your internet connectivity on the VidiU Go. So
I am testing the VidiU Go. It is completely battery. The only cable coming in is HDMI from my camcorder, which is providing a nice test with bubbles. The bubbles are extremely hard to compress because it's constantly changing at least half the frame, and that's coming in HDMI. We are both recording, going to the cloud, and we can see and get it to focus the two cellular modems. And the AP means the Go is providing an access point. We are live. Battery's at 59% for 38 minutes, which is pretty good. So over here, the access point that the Wi-Fi is providing is coming over here, and I am looking at a preview from the Go. You can see that I am live and I am recording. I have a micro SD in there, so there's my stop button. I don't want to push that. You can see the various settings for things. I can take a picture of what's going on. I go like that, and then it takes a picture. When the broadcast is in progress, you can't go in and change the settings. But what I can see down here is I can see the health of the two different cellular networks, USB 1 and USB 2. And then the overall bit rate is the orange one at the top. I can hide this. I'm not going to go into Core because it'll throw me into the other app. I don't want to do that. But you can see that I'm live, my settings, I'm connected, and the battery level is reported here. It doesn't give me a percentage like it does on the front, 57%, but it gives me at least some indication over the network. And then if I come down here to my stats, I leave that up, and I get a good display as to what's going on through the cellular modems on the device. If I had other connections like a Wi-Fi, you would see that reflected here as well.
That's a really quick rundown there. What I found is this is amazingly compact and really handy. You know, the antennas fold down. It's not that very big at all. I like the fact that these two modems are integrated. However, just to be clear, it is just a, I'm going to boot this down just so I can show you. 1, 0, hold it for a couple seconds and it boots off. So switch cameras back to here, transition, and pan it back over here. So now if I uncouple this, there we go. So now you can see on this side, it is just a USB slot. It's kind of finished on this side. It's not as finished as when the modem itself is on there. The modem has the SIM card right in here. This is a USB, standard USB connector, and it goes in here. So you are perfectly able to stick, if you have existing USB modems with existing contracts that you want to leverage, you are welcome to use those in here. However, I will point out the fact that the reason there are these two big antennas on here is because these link modems are designed to give you MIMO, which is multiple in, multiple out. So they can communicate on different bands at the same time, making sure that you have the maximum flexibility in terms of throughput, as opposed to just a USB stick, which might have a single trace on it. I don't think, I'm not an expert in all USB modems, I don't think most USB modems are designed for maximum throughput and heat dispersion for multi-hour use of high bandwidth video streaming. Another interesting thing is these antennas come off. So if you are in a rural area, or if you are in amongst a big crowd and you know where the tower is and you just need to make your signal more present than everyone else's, you could use directional antennas. You know, they make directional cellular antennas. You can get a high gain antenna. You know, you can get it way up above the crowd from here by using the fact that these are removable antennas. And the nice thing is they come off for packing as well, because these fold down over here, but these don't. These screw in standing up. So it would be nice if these folded down, but they don't. So it's one of those caveats. It's nice that you have nice durable jacks on here. On the downside, they don't fall down. So it attaches right there, and then you screw it in with the included thumb screws. I'm guessing at which direction that goes. No, it goes the other way. There we go. And now pop that back up and you're basically ready to go. So in terms of build and operating it and functionality, I find this to be a great little piece of kit. I tested it. I ran this down for an hour and about 17 minutes, give or take. I was pushing HD video through it, 1080, 60, and I did a high stress test of water, which is very changing. So it pushed this thing. It got warm. It didn't get too hot. It has a fan on the bottom and a 1/4-20 thread so that you can mount it on a light stand, or I've put like a little mount in here, but you can just put it on a light stand up in the air if you want. If you don't, it's got rubber feet. It'll just sit nicely on a table, and it's got a fan on the bottom. It did not get hot. It did not get overly baking, you know, burn your fingers kind of hot, which is a good sign of a well-built product that has enough thermal cooling to keep it efficient. And I ran it till it died. I pushed it to 1 hour and 17 minutes at the last time I checked my watch, and it pushed data across both cellular modems, and you can see through the tracking that the cellular modems were tracking up and down depending on how the load was going through each modem, through whatever they were connected to. And the stream was solid all the way through. The stream was pushed to Facebook, and then in the middle of that stream, I decided to send it to a second Facebook. So I added a second destination. I added it to this event that was already created, and then I initiated the stream to that, and that worked fine. I was able to go in and do the description and the title and everything for all those streams. All of that happened in Core. I'm not trying to do that on the face of this unit. So that's, like I said, that's an advantage to having Core be your back end when you are trying to manage multiple streams, multiple destinations. Having a larger interface and not trying to do it on the face of something is a godsend. Whether you use Core, which is integrated with this for the H.265, or whether you use some other service, you know the benefits of having an online service handle that part of the networking service. You can see the micro SD slot right here, and if you have client media that you need to use, I'm not a fan of micro SDs just because they are so tiny. But if you're gonna use one of these, I would have liked to have seen this on the back of the unit somewhere so that it's more easily accessible. We're not talking about a waterproof unit here at all. And as opposed to having to remove a modem unit to get to the memory card. That's just a niggle of mine. And then also, in terms of only having 1 hour and 17 minutes, it would be nice if like this top plate had an NPF battery mount in it that was wired into the unit itself. That way, you could leverage the internal battery as a backup, run off of a bigger battery, depending on how long your gig is going to go. You could pop in a big battery and be sure that you've got 2 hours, 3 hours worth of battery content. Or you could use a smaller battery, and then depending upon how things are going, you could pop that off. The internal battery takes over. You're running off the internal battery, and then you click put on the second battery. That would be a really nice feature in terms of having a unit like this where it's designed to use an external battery but has an internal battery as a backup. Even if it's just like a big capacitor to give you 5 minutes of just extra power to swap batteries or unplug this external USB pack and plug in a different USB battery pack. You can use USB, you can use no, that's it. Right now, you can only use a USB-C input for power or the internal battery. But I'm saying I would like to see an external battery mount on the top of this thing. Just because, well, you already got the antennas pointing up, so that's part of the space. Putting a battery here, I think, would just really make it so that I know I got my camera, I know my camera battery. This camera battery is going to last for 3 hours. And I know this thing is going to last for 3 hours. So I can go shoot a soccer game, which is only going to be an hour, hour and 15 minutes, depending on overtime. And I know I don't have to worry about it. Whereas if I've got an hour and 17-minute battery and I want to start a little bit ahead of time with some pre-show, I'm cutting it really tight. And I have to bring an external battery pack, and then I have to mount it somewhere and or Velcro it to the top. And it's like, I'm going to have a battery to the top. Let's just make it part of the program. I like things totally integrated like that, which is why I still use my GH4. And I really love how much of the VidiU Go is integrated together. And that's like the one facet I think that would just really help push this even further. So the VidiU Go Mark II, I could see would have a battery plate on top and maybe an SD card slot on the back. So with that, my name is Anthony Barocas. This has been my look at the Teradek VidiU Go mobile live streaming appliance from Teradek. Thanks for watching.